Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. I'm Ariel Zabak out of the GMS Dallas camp, and I'm going to entitle this lesson here, similar to what happened to make the water to become bitter. All right. And, when World War III is taking place, during the time when our Savior returned, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, he's coming back for the chosen and the elect, okay? And this is for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true Hebrew Israelites. This word must go out throughout the four corners of the earth. That the chosen and the elect, may be sealed and quickened. Okay. And, during that time, when World War III is taking place and destruction is taking place on earth, the waters are going to become bitter. But there's something that take place, that caused that, reaction. There's an effect, that's caused for that to take place. All right. And we're going to get that in, let's start from Isaiah. Let's get there first. And let's go into the 24th chapter. And we're going to start from verse, let's start from, okay. Verse 19. We'll start from verse 19. Okay, and it reads, this is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. All right. And, that's going into the nuclear destruction. Okay. Because when World War III is taking place, when those missiles go off, those intercontinental continental ballistic missiles, when they are shot off, they're not going to break their rank. They're going to hit exactly where the Most High would guide them. The Most High guide those missiles. They're going to be moved by His Spirit to hit specific places of the earth. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab a precept to that. Didn't mean to grab one that early, but it's necessary. This is Joel, the 2nd chapter, verse 7, and it reads, "They shall run like mighty men." It's talking about the missiles. "They shall climb the wall like mighty men of war," because they're going to be in the atmosphere when they're traveling. When an intercontinental ballistic missile is shot from another continent, it's going up in the arrow like a bow, like an archer shooting a bow. If you watch that movie Gladiator, when the archers are shooting the arrows, they shoot them upwards, in an angle, and they go up and make like a little bow shape before they come down. So that's what's going to happen. Those missiles are going to, climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, because they're going to be guided by the Spirit of the Most High. You see, Yahweh. Verse 8, "Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded." You see? All right. So, okay, let me continue. Verse 9, "They shall run to and fro in the city. and they shall run upon the wall, and they shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter into the windows like a thief. And it's talking about these missiles. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Okay? Verse 11. And it reads, Salakia. Let's go back to Salakia. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 24. All right, we're going to go back to verse 19. Actually, we're going to go to verse 20. This is Isaiah 24, because we just read how the ICBM missiles are not going to break their rank. They're going to be guided by the Spirit of the Most High. And verse 20 reads, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. Okay, so you have to remember, how big this earth is. And for the earth to actually reel to and fro like a drunkard, he's going to give you even a better picture of what's taking place. And it says, and shall be removed like a cottage. And I looked that word up, and that cottage go into like a hut. And it's a house with a very frail frame, So if this earth is shaking and you got a frail frame home, that's gonna, if you ever, shake, if a hard storm or wind come through and your home is very frail, it's gonna get tossed to and fro. And that's exactly how the earth is gonna shake. But it says like a drunkard, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Okay, so I wanted to get that first, to bring some context on what's going to make these waters bitter. All right, so you have this destruction that's taking place with the ICBM missiles that's being shot, and this is throughout the earth. Mainly Babylon the Great is going to get most of those missiles, which is what's described in Revelation, the lake of fire. Okay, it's going to get hit with those missiles, which is America. Okay, and the waters, thereof, you're going to have salt water mixing with fresh water. Okay, as this destruction being taken place, but something is going to get contaminated. And when you have nuclear missiles going off and everything is burning, we just read in verse 20. What was that? I think that was actually that was in Joel, how the sun and everything is going to turn dark. And let's go back and grab that again. Let's get Joel again, so we can go back, go over that. This is Joel 2:7, and it reads, "They shall run," and it's talking about the missiles. "They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his way, and they shall not break their ranks." Okay. And then where was that? In verse 10, and it says, "The earth shall quake." You see, there that word again, it's going to quake. "Before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark." You see? And why is that going to happen? It's because of the tempest and the burning of Babylon the Great and different other parts of the world of the earth that's been hit by these nuclear ICBM missiles. So that's why it's going to turn, the sun and the moon dark, because of the smoke. Okay. So going back to Isaiah 24 again, because we're just getting context of what we're about to read. All right. So this is Isaiah chapter 24 again, verse 20. "The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard," because it's going to be an earthquake. Okay. a great earthquake, and it's all from those nuclear ICBM missiles, the destruction, and also the chariots too. The Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, which are the angels, and the so-called UFOs, they're going to be shooting out the laser beams as well, with concentrated heat. Okay, and it shall fall. Verse 20 again: the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. All right, and let's get Second Esdras. Let's grab that real quick. Let's get Second Esdras 16 and 12, because it's going to go into these, what's making this water bitter. All right. Verse 12, and it reads, the earth quaketh, okay, and that's coming from that nuclear destruction, and the foundations thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves, okay? So that's showing you what's taking place that we read in Isaiah 24. It's shaking like a drunkard and getting hit with those missiles. All right. The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. All right. So let's get the precept to that so we can get a better understanding of what's taking place here. This is Revelation chapter 8, and we're going to start from verse 8, and it reads, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. Okay, so that great mountain burning with fire, that's the nuclear ICBM missile. Okay, and the second angel sounded as it were a great mountain burning with fire. Okay, was cast into the sea. So these nuclear ICBM missiles going to be hitting the sea as well. Why is that? Not just because they're missing a mark, but you're going to have Navy ships, submarines, uh, between, America and Russia. And I'm not including China, North Korea, India, all of these other nations. But between, Russia and America, they have, over 800, and you can look it up. I think Russia has like 422 serviceable, water vehicles. And when I say that, I'm speaking of like submarines, Navy ships, and other vehicles they use in the sea. And they have, if I'm not mistaken, 270 or maybe 370 that's active, meaning that they're actually using. But overall, they have 420 something that's serviceable, meaning that, they have some on reserve as well. And likewise with America, they have, if I'm not mistaken, around the same, not quite, even as 420. But I think I remember reading they had like 370 active, something like that, and around about 400, as well. And, give or take here and there. And you can look this up. And around 4 to 5,000 people are able to occupy, as far as personnel, those vehicles. So that's a lot of, people that's on one of these Navy ships or in these submarines, it's like a facility. Okay. So that's a lot of bodies to account for when you speaking about, these missiles hitting these different vehicles of transportation. All right. So going back to Revelation 8 and 8, and it reads, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire, as the nuclear ICBM missiles, was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. Okay. So you got, destruction going on from those, water vehicles in the sea. And then you also have the creatures that's in the sea, because it's going to continue and break that down, and we're going to read it. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. All right. So let's go back and read that again. This is 2nd Esdras 16 and 12. The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up. Okay, that's from the nuclear destruction, with waves from the deep. And the waves of it are troubled, because they're getting hit with those missiles. And the fishes thereof also, they're also troubled. Okay, and we're reading it here. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great, Salakia, verse 9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. Okay. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. You see? And that's what, why I brought that out with the ships, because it's telling you this is what was being hit, So this is what caused the sea to become blood, because it says up here in verse 8 again, in the middle of the verse, and the third part of the sea became blood. You see? So all of the creatures, the life that's in the sea, all of the bodies on those ships, submarines, those water vehicles, they're going to get destroyed. Well, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed, okay? And we're going to skip down. Okay, no, we'll just keep reading in verse 10, and it reads, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers. And that's from the nuclear destruction, that's the radiation, and upon the fountains of water. All right. So it said third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of water. Okay. So this is talking about clean water as well. So you got salt water, you got clean water. All of this is being contaminated from nuclear radiation. In verse 11, and it reads, and the name of the star is called wormwood. And when you go into that word wormwood, it means bitterness. All right.
Strong's G 894. Obscenthia.
Obscenthia. Okay. For wormwood. The name of the star which fell into the waters and were made bitter. Okay. So that's what it is. It means bitter. Okay. So let's go back. All right. In verse 11 again. And the name of the star is called wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, which means bitter. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. It was undrinkable. You see? So it's going to be a lot of death and destruction during the return of the Lord, the day of the Lord, when Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai come back and save his people. And starting with the elect, okay? The 144,000 and a great multitude. All right? So if you always wanted to know about wormwood and what made the waters bitter, it was because of that nuclear destruction. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. Shalom.